Under the scorching desert dawn of ancient Giza, thousands of skilled hands assemble each morning to raise monumental stone mountains that will stand forever. Meet Nakht, a 28-year-old stonemason who arrives at the quarry before sunrise, gripping his bronze tools as the intense desert heat begins to rise. For centuries, popular myth portrayed these builders as tormented slaves, forced to work under cruel whips. But historical evidence reveals an entirely different reality. Overseer Ka unrolls a fresh papyrus ledger, carefully logging attendance and allocating daily task quotas to distinct labor squads known as files and zay. These men are respected free citizens and rotational conscripts from rural villages, working off civic obligations while earning dependable state-sponsored grain wages. During the annual Nile inundation, when farm fields lie submerged beneath floodwaters, thousands of skilled peasants migrate to Giza for guaranteed food and shelter. At the rock face, Nakht drives his bronze chisel into dense nummulitic limestone, striking the dull metal with rhythmic blows of his dense acacia mallet. Bronze is a soft and precious metal that blunts quickly against hard desert rock, requiring specialized tool sharpeners stationed directly at the quarry edge. Crews compete fiercely with one another, writing spirited graffiti on stone faces naming their gangs, such as the Friends of Khufu and the Drunkards of Menkor. Once freed from bedrock, the massive 2.5-ton block is levered onto a heavy wooden sledge made of imported Lebanese cedar timbers. Nakht and 20 fellow laborers grab thick braided papyrus haul ropes, bracing their bare feet against the desert earth as the team leader counts tempo. A specialized water pourer steps ahead of the runners, wetting the sand to reduce friction by half. A brilliant physics innovation documented in ancient tomb paintings. Slowly and steadily, the colossal sledges ascend the colossal mud brick ramps that wind around the rising core of the Great Pyramid structure. Architects and royal surveyors continuously check every angle using plumb bobs and sighting instruments, ensuring tolerances within fractions of a single inch. As the scorching midday bell sounds across the plateau, Nakht lays down his heavy tools and heads towards the communal settlement for his daily rations. In the massive bakery settlement near Giza, Merit kneads heavy emmer wheat dough inside conical clay pots, preparing daily bread rations for thousands of construction workers. Ancient Egyptian currency does not exist in coined gold or silver, but in daily units of dense bread and nourishing barley beer that fuel hard physical labor. Nakht steps forward to receive his daily wage: 3 large loaves of hearty emmer bread and 4 liters of thick, mild barley beer poured into ceramic vessels. This ancient beer is far from modern clear alcohol. It is a dense, unfiltered nutritional porridge packed with proteins, essential vitamins, and hydrating clean liquids. Beside his bread, Nakht peels sharp raw onions and crushed garlic cloves, natural antibiotics that royal overseers supply in abundance to prevent rampant intestinal infections. For protein, he unpacks sun-dried salted catfish harvested from the Nile marshlands, providing vital sodium and nutrients lost through relentless sweating in the desert. Recent archaeological excavations at the workers' village unearthed massive animal bone deposits, proving that cattle and sheep were butchered daily for the workforce. This high-calorie diet of nearly 4,000 calories per day was essential to sustain the intense physical demands of quarrying and hauling massive stone. When the rest period concludes, Nakht returns to the deep limestone trench, where ambient temperatures regularly exceed 45 degrees Celsius in the sun. Inside the narrow rock trenches, fine silica and limestone dust hang suspended in the still air, creating an invisible, deadly hazard for every breathing artisan. Nakht begins the arduous process of trench channeling, chipping narrow 30-centimeter trenches around a future block, using heavy dolerite pounding stones and bronze chisels. Every strike reverberates through the mason's wrists and spine, causing cumulative microfractures and severe degenerative arthritis that skeletal remains vividly demonstrate today. To split the bottom of the detached block, workers drive dry wooden wedges into carved slots and pour water over them to expand the timber. With a sharp, resounding subterranean crack, the 2-ton limestone block separates cleanly from the plateau bedrock, ready for dressing and transportation. Overseer Ka inspects the freshly cut edges with his wooden square, marking the finished stone with red ink to approve it for the pyramid ramp. Years of relentless quarry labor extract a catastrophic toll on Nakht's lungs as microparticles of silica and limestone gradually accumulate deep within his respiratory tissues. Inhaling fine stone dust without modern respirators causes chronic silicosis and severe respiratory infections, leading many workers to succumb to illness before reaching age 35. Beyond the hidden respiratory hazards, sudden mechanical disasters frequently erupt along the steep ramps where immense multi-ton blocks are maneuvered by human muscle. A thick papyrus haul rope frays and violently snaps under extreme tension, sending a heavy timber lever tumbling down the ramp toward unsuspecting workers. Nakht's teammate is caught beneath the runaway cedar timber, suffering a severe compound fracture to his lower leg as dust envelopes the chaotic work area. Overseer Ka immediately signals the emergency team with his copper horn, summoning medical orderlies with a wooden stretcher rather than punishing the fallen man. Royal physicians, trained according to the medical wisdom of the Edwin Smith papyrus, examine the fractured limb on a clean wooden treatment table, using smooth wooden splints wrapped tightly in fresh linen bandages soaked in raw acacia gum. The surgeons carefully realign and immobilize the broken bone. To prevent deadly bacterial infections in open lacerations, ancient Egyptian doctors apply antibacterial honey, willow bark infusions, and copper-based antiseptic mineral pastes. Remarkably, bioarchaeological studies of excavated builder skeletons prove that these complex fractures successfully healed, demonstrating world-class orthopedic care funded by the pharaoh. In addition to mechanical injuries, venomous desert vipers and thick-tailed scorpions lurk beneath the dry limestone rubble, posing constant deadly threats during daily excavation. Overseer Ka's scribes regularly record medical leaves on administrative ostraca, noting reasons such as bitten by a scorpion or brewing beer for religious offerings. Injured artisans continue receiving their full daily beer and grain rations while recovering, an ancient social security system unprecedented in the Bronze Age world. After weeks of rehabilitation, Nakht returns to the quarry with stiffened joints but unbroken spirit, greeting his fellow stonemasons under the rising desert sun. Yet tension looms over Giza. When essential grain deliveries stall from royal granaries, the world's first recorded labor dispute is about to ignite. When delivery barges from the royal storehouses fail to arrive on schedule, hundreds of hungry stonemasons lay down their chisels and gather outside administrative gates. Nakht and senior crew leaders articulate their clear grievance without basic grain and beer rations. Physical labor on the royal monuments cannot rightfully proceed. Rather than unleashing armed soldiers, royal viziers recognize the legitimate contract, opening secondary reserve granaries to promptly distribute emergency barley baskets to every worker. With food security fully restored and contracts honored, the builders celebrate with communal feasts, reinforcing a mutual societal bond between ruler and populace. Returning to the heights of the pyramid ramp, Nakht applies his master stonemason craftsmanship to the fine white Tura limestone casing stones. These outer casing blocks are fitted with such surgical accuracy that not even a single knife blade or hair can slide between the tight joints. High above the plateau, the golden pyramidion capstone is hoisted into position, reflecting the blinding desert sun like a radiant beacon of royal authority. Standing upon the upper ramp platform, Nakht gazes out across the transformed Nile landscape, knowing his mortal sweat has forged an eternal, earthly mountain. Decades later, when Nakht's long life of craftsmanship reaches its natural close, he is not discarded in an unmarked desert ditch as popular myth assumed. Instead, he is granted an honorable burial in a personal mud brick mastaba tomb, located directly in the shadow of the Great Pyramids themselves. Inside the burial chamber, priests arrange funerary goods for the afterlife: ceramic beer jars, dried food vessels, and his cherished bronze stonemason tools. Carved upon the entrance lintel is his proud official title, Overseer of the Stonecutters Gang, preserving his identity through 4.5 millennia. Modern archaeology confirms that over 20,000 free Egyptian workers labored here in rotating shifts, building not out of slavery, but national purpose. Their daily lives were hard, marked by dust, blisters, and fractured bones. Yet their collective human engineering triumphed over time and nature. The pharaohs may have commanded these timeless wonders, but it was ordinary men like Nakht whose hands truly built immortality from stone.